just America, it's the globe. I've got something to say, and I have three of my beautiful friends with me. I have Nano Girl, I have Maliah, and I have Luna. So there's no telling where this conversation's going, how long this conversation's going, but we're a spiritual tribe. We have collective consciousness, and it's time that we get together and just talk about things from a female perspective. I love my brothers in arms too. I see you over there, Sid. And I just met James last night. James is a wonderful, stellar dude. So, hello, everybody in chat, and welcome. It's good to see everybody. And I'm just going to go around the board and then we'll get started. So, Nano Girl, how have you been?
Well, thank you for inviting me. It's so good to be back with the team again. It's been a while since we've all got together. I'm doing great. Still living in Northern California, and feel like we're for any of us who are living in this state, we're fighting the good fight. We're hanging in there, and it's such a beautiful state, and I'm feeling like, well, I hope we accomplish a lot of good stuff as we roll forward. And I'm looking forward to this evening's conversation.
Yep, and I agree. California is a beautiful place, and another California is Maliah.
Yep. Yeah, if you're making it through California right now, good on you, because we got the highest groceries, the highest gas, the highest taxes. It's crazy. But yeah, the weather is finally starting to cool down. No, not even that. But yeah, I'm doing good. We're over here on Julez channel, but we are also multi-streaming. To Walter Bosley, we've taken over your channel as well. Hope you don't mind.
Hi, Jack.
But yeah, doing
And
good.
Luna, how have you been?
I'm good. I'm recovered and I'm fighting fit again. I had a good sleep and went to the gym. Yeah, I'm good. I've noticed a lot of changes. Well, actually, the changes have been happening for a while, but they're getting really prevalent now. And yeah, it's time to stand up, everyone. That's why we did this show. Me and Jules had a yarn the other day. Jules appropriately called it Sisters at Arms, and we thought it's time for us to speak from our heart and our spirit and our experience, so we can get through what's coming in physically, spiritual, and emotional ways, like in all them levels.
Mm-hmm.
Body, spirit, whatever way you want to put it, you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
And yeah, do what we can, I suppose. And that's what we're here to, is to say, what can you do and how can you do it? And you don't have to be in charge of anything or anything like that. You do it in your own realm. So yeah, so hopefully we can get into all this good stuff tonight.
Yeah, and a lot of Luna, what you just hit on, vibration and frequency. I spent better part of last year breaking down a Song of Illusia from an episode of Xena called The Bitter and Sweet. And part of the whole concept of the song, the first lyrics are, you have to sing to speak, you're an Illusia. And in that Illusia made me completely, okay, Illusia, that is so similar to illusion. And in the past, few months, and it's like boiling up to the surface, where for me, I can see that, and I'm just going to go off the deep end from the beginning, where it's a grand illusion being played.
True is.
I mean, little bits of this and a little bit of that, and you combine them all together. And if you know where to look, you can see things. I've spent about a year getting all my information together and compiling for the book. And then the past few months, I've just literally been entertained by the world. I don't need to watch much TV, or I'm entertained by society. Everything that I felt, had this feeling about, it's coming into play. There are things coming. I can't tell you what they are, but it's just coincidental that the priest and the pastors, the psychics, the seers, the mystics, they all sense the same thing. And what's coming, I'd like to think, is positive change, but positive change is manifested. It's you've gotta put it out, and what you put out, others receive, and if they receive it good in their intentions, they pay it forward as well. Or at least I'd like to think that.
Yeah.
Yeah, as far as what's coming, multiple things are coming, I think. It depends where you live.
Yeah, well, comparing where we live, I mean, things aren't so perfect in France, in Canada, all these other places. That's what's coming to America.
Right.
I mean, America is like the last bastion before world governance. And I don't want to talk forever about this topic, but it's hard to talk about spirituality today, how to battle it, how to overcome it, how to accept it, when there's so much going on that's tied into the politics of what's going on today.
Right.
And you also have to be careful. We'll go back to what's real and what isn't it. If you're watching TV or the news and all that, it's not real. What you're seeing isn't 100% real. You have to have discernment there.
Yeah.
And like I've always said, go outside in your neighbourhood, go an hour up the road or whatever, go and talk to other people and have a real look at reality and what's happening around you. And if you notice things happening there, and you hear these things that you're not sure if are true, and you can start to get a picture there. But that's really important at the moment, is the reality, not what's in your little head.
Oh, exactly. And I mean, and all of us crazy, kooky, well, me, I won't call you guys crazy and kooky. I will accept that I'm a conspiracy analyst and I look at everything before I make a decision. But one thing that for a long time in circles, we've heard that the end goal is one world religion, one world currency, one world government. It's not so far of a fetch when AI right now is being rewriting the Bible. Our currency is, we don't know about our currency, but just yesterday I saw that Warren Buffett dumped a bunch of shares in American Bank of America.
Right.
So
And
that's 2 out of the 3, and the global government, we're standing in the way. I mean, we're the last. When we are defeated, and it's already being in play. You have the European Union, the American Union. Information's out there. I don't have links, guys, I'm sorry, but information's out there. And if you care to look, start with the World Economic Forum. That's a plethora of information, and you'll be there for days.
Yeah.
Forever rabbit holes, right?
Yes, yes. So I mean, I had to lay out some of the I'm not going to say dire, because what one considers dire, another is just another day. So what all the chaos and everything that's going around affects us. It affects our mood, our personality, our spirit. And because we are spirit beings, there is a collective conscience out there. So we're all connected somehow, some way.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm here with my sisters at arms, to stand in the trenches and defeat a spiritual battle, an information war. And I'm here because I want to learn. And if you guys have anything that you can tell me about this, because collectively I'd like to work as a team and get things done.
I want to jump straight on the collective fear. So most people that know the truth are sensitive, right? Which means that when you feel depression, that's not always you feel in the rest of the world. And it's really important that when you feel yourself in not the best, you're going down, you feel a bit depressed or whatever, to check whether it's you, really you, and something in your life, or whether you're feeling all your sisters and brothers out there in the world and what they're going through, because it's very loud at the moment. Seriously, very loud. It's putting the real sensitive people to sleep because it's getting so loud. It's like we need to shut down for an hour or two and then get back up. And there's a lot of dark things running around. That's to get a little bit deeper. With that negative energy or dark energy comes little dark things. And so it's really important to stay on a good frequency if you can. Know whether it's you that's hurting or feeling down or is angry, or whether it's something outside you, so you can keep yourself strong. And whatever your religion is, whether you pray or you practice cleansing or whatever, do those things right now. It's really important to have that connection strong to Creator, the Mother, whatever your belief is, have that strong, beautiful connection so it keeps the light on. So those dark things, when they do come, you'll see them, they'll know the light's there and they'll leave. And don't get caught up in issues of the world, like, what is it? Be of the world but not part of the world. And that is such a true saying. We are here, but don't partake in it all. Don't partake in the fear rides. Don't partake in the.
I think you walk through it, but it's like you're here, but you're not of the world. You're walking like, it's almost like there's the Matrix and all the games being played. You don't want to get caught in that matrix, right? You acknowledge that it's there and it may be affecting you, but you just keep walking, right? And you can pray for it, or you can, but there's always sort of that little bit of separation, right? You don't want to get sucked into that vortex, because
and it's so easy too. I'm telling you, you don't realise it. You'll come home and go, I feel out of sorts. Oh, that's right. My thoughts got sucked into that. It could just be your thoughts. I went and talked to these people, and they. For me personally, how can I put it? I go certain places. I go a lot of places, meet lots of different people. When I get round the collective, if I'm hanging around too long and I come home, I find myself thinking like them, and it's like, no, that's not me. I think this way. It rubs off on you, man. It does. So you have to be mindful.
It's amazing how the consciousness, I work at a place that's called Joann's, and we sell fabrics and all this kind of fun, thing, crochet stuff and knitting and all this stuff. What I find really interesting, for any day that I work there, the clients, the customers all come in with the same thing going on. Like if it's a bad day, it's a bad day for everybody. If it's something's broken in their life, everybody has it broken. Last day I worked there, which was last week, I don't think there was maybe one healthy person that walked in the door. Everybody had a walker and everybody had a cane, and they were crippled and they could barely walk. And it goes like that over and over. And you think to yourself, my gosh, did everybody who's struggling with body issues get the notice to go to Joann's this morning? I'm not kidding, right? Or they wore some kind of perfume that I can't read. Yeah. Like every one of them have it on. It's like, oh my God. So, we are very connected, right? And you kind of watch all that and think to yourself, that's not something I want to bring in, right? Certain things that you see from the people around you, you can pray for them or have compassion, but then think, I'm not signed up for that. Like, I'm going to go to the gym, or I'm not going to eat the crap that I know is going to break my body, whatever you
or I'm just going to be calm and not let anger get me, or whatever it is. Could be the smallest little thing. The small things count. Those patterns you see in there, the patterns of life. It's easy. If you walk up the road, you'll see all the same colour cars go past at once. You'll see people wearing all the same stuff, or they all look the same.
Same color, same shoes, same purses. Yeah, I know. And I don't know if it's because we end up traveling, but so in other words, if we have that consciousness, we'll deal with something lighthearted like the perfume. If we've got this consciousness for the perfume stuff, then everybody bought that perfume. And there is like, Thursday I'm going to Joann's and everybody burps it in there. I mean, it's almost like you have to be in a place like that to kind of see stuff like that. It's like, wow, that's interesting.
No, I can relate with that. I mean, I deal with a lot of people in my line of work, and I see all kinds of people come in. I see people who just they're have their head down, they're grumpy, they're short fused, they don't know why. It's
Right.
just, whatever. It's just they're being impacted by their environment.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I see that too. We have days where the customers are grumpy and angry and frustrated. And, unfortunately, we can be the people they take it out on, which is really hard. And that I think that's the draining part. Like, because you can't, it, in a situation like that, you'd be wasting your time if you said, all of you are very grumpy today.
How dare you say that?
Let me pray for all 5 of you standing in line, waiting for me to wait on you. And I'm just going to bless you. Let's all take a deep breath. Oh my God. Because that's the last thing you want to hear from anybody is like, don't feel your feelings. So of course I wouldn't say anything like that, but I mean, it's tempting. But I just to see the unification of this consciousness of how powerful our consciousness is. And I think because I've talked about discernment forever and ever and ever, because I really think it's one of our greatest gifts. This is where we'll recognize what's real and what's not, right?
Yeah. I mean, it's important this day and time with even it's as simple as your source of news. I mean, there are things that have happened and unfolded that I don't remember them being that way when I was growing up. I don't remember history being like it was.
Right.
And it's to the point where everything that I have learned in my younger days, I have to question it and go back and double check and look, because it just seems every day history is rewriting itself. And we all know history is his story, and his story is written by the victors.
Yeah, and I don't think the people that are pulling the strings are using very exciting or new dialogue or plans or the things that they're trying to implement. We've seen them before. That's how we recognize it, right? And as a couple of people I know said, we know what they're going to do. We've been watching them for 30 years, and they just keep repeating the same story or the same game. We could go through a million of those. We all know what I'm saying here.
Yes, 1984 was never meant to be a guidebook, a rules for living.
Exactly. Yeah, and a lot of people are bringing that up now. So the hopeful things, if we start to look at some hopeful things, my hopeful thing are people that are younger especially, who are taking a look at all this stuff and not buying it and speaking out and they're speaking out in a funny way. Like some of them take it real serious, but some of them don't. And it's hilarious. Some of them are doggone funny. And the thing that I love about that is in my generation, when we did women's lib, we were angry. That's kind of how our sisters got the freedom we thought we needed and all that stuff. We kind of came out kicking some butt. These younger generations don't need anger to bring in their colleagues, to wake people up. They're using humor, especially the 20s and the 30-somethings. And that's what happened in business, is that the younger generations after me who were fighting for being managers at work and breaking that glass ceiling, they weren't angry. They didn't do anger like we did. And we got our butts kicked for being so angry, so we did have to stop. But so I'm seeing that, and I find that very hopeful, because then it's becoming integrated versus something that's hard to push.
Yes.
Yeah, and that I think that's an amazingly hopeful sign. That's
And
awesome.
I'd like to think that the common ground is in between a little bit of the older values, but an understanding of just what the younger and future generations can bring, how they can complement my generation, other older generations of me. There's a commonality there. We learn from each other.
Yeah, yeah,
Well, I think something has to give now because we're in the throes. Nobody can deny this country, this nation is in the throes of its last moments of being an empire. Things have to change from the
Yeah,
ground level to the up top and down. The things coming out about how the um, the Secret Service failed so miserably protecting somebody. They're supposed to have, I mean, their budget is the highest budget of any job around. And something as simple as covering Butler, Pennsylvania, and that is simple when it comes to an operation. That was super simple for them. It should have been basic, straight, straight line.
yeah. Every day there's a
But
new
they're
development with that story.
right,
yeah. Exactly. Did
right.
we see what we thought we saw, or I mean, there's many aspects and layers. To me, that whole because my first reaction was
Yeah,
right,
yeah,
but you also you bring up a good point. Is and my friend and I were discussing this last night. We're sick of the military. I was brought up in the military being the police officers of the entire planet. We don't want to pay for it, and karma is going to kick our butts. You know, we're dealing with karma right now. Like a lot of these people that have come over our border, we've probably been messing with their countries for far too long.
Yeah,
And I always figured karma would be a
I
well,
definitely agree with that.
for it to be so simple, for a presidency to change hands, and on day one they can sign out of effect everything that that prior president had done in the past 4 years, and just demolish all of it, wide open borders. I mean, I firsthand witnessed what the borders looked like at the changeover, and it was day and night, and they were flowing through, and they've been flowing through since, and they had specific target cities every single one of the migrants were going to.
yeah.
This was a planned coup. It has every thing, every sign that this was planned, that there was operations and governments behind this that moved, and they let the worst of the worst out of their jails to flood Aurora, Colorado, New Mexico, so many other places. I mean,
Yeah.
California, oh gosh, we've been flooded for a long time now.
No, we have we have more homeless than all the rest of the states in the United States. I think we've got 30 or 35%. I think I read
Yeah,
something. Yeah, you've got 35% of them.
yeah, I could easily see like take 10 states and average them, and that's how many California has.
It's everywhere, even here, in my little town in the on the East Coast. We've got 2 hours from DC. We've got a homeless problem. We have a crime. We have crime, more crime than we've ever had.
Right.
Even to the point where you hear it, you don't even read it because it's just enough in the ticker.
Well, the other thing is this is
Yeah,
happening worldwide. So it's happening in Italy. Look what's happening to the UK. Look what's happening to Ireland. I'm imagining, Luna, you've got this going on in Australia. So, and I don't know if it's around where you are, but I mean, Australia is a big, huge place.
They said that hubby watches the news and tells me, he said that that's going to happen here. I haven't really actually seen it yet because we're really spread out.
Right.
We're different to other countries. We're really spread out, and except for like the main capitals, everything else is spread out. It's a different tactic. Like if the immigrants were to put war on us, it's more like everyone runs out into the wilderness. You've got to find everyone, right? It's all spread out. Yeah, and this terrain, not many people know it. Aussies know the terrain, and we tell everyone knows when you come to Australia, you've got to get knowledged up about the terrain and everything that lives here. You can't just jump here and think you're going to be all right. So I don't know how it's going to go here. They say it's going to happen here. We'll see. It could just be fear. It's from the news, you know.
Yeah, but I think with the rest of us though, like if you look again, going back to the UK, you know, you're seeing that, we're seeing it here. This is kind of real. So, and like I said, California, I think is one of the biggest petri dishes in the country. Everything gets tried here, and New York, right? So New York, here, and now I think they're also trying to pull this off in Texas, because Texas was a state that was fighting all this stuff. So of course they want to get in there and infiltrate. So this is impacting us, and I think that's another huge thing, that how are we going to deal with this in the future, right? And like you said, balance it with fear, but also balance it with the things we may be seeing, right?
I can see from this position in Australia how they could make a civil war easily happen in America.
Yeah.
And it's already brewing. And they want that around the world. They want civil wars.
Yeah.
But I was thinking, how does Australia have a civil war? Because half the country is just desert. Yeah, I can't see us having a civil war. The only thing we've ever had is always against the governments, right? We've always rose up against them. We haven't. I think once we had a little argument, but it wasn't a civil war.
Well, a revolution would do a lot better for the U.S. than a civil war again.
Oh, yeah,
Nobody
right.
wants brother against brother. I mean,
That's right.
that was hell.
We
I
can't
was
do
like
that.
living some of the journals and different things from that era are just so sad.
Oh my God,
And
brother.
yeah, no, we can't go there again.
We're
But
trying to do that,
band
right?
together and fight off these migrants and these people that are invading our country, because that's what it is. It's an invasion.
It is an
I agree. And in my daily travels, I encounter more people who are different than me.
Mhm.
But once I learn how to talk to them, and they understand that I'm not a threat to them, we're just two people that are passing by. The more I talk with people, the more I realize we are more in common than we are different.
Well, not everybody is. See that, I think that's where this is going to get tricky, because we're not saying that every single human being that crossed the border is dangerous to us, right?
No way. No. Mm-mm.
But I do believe there are aspects of it that are. And
You
you
say
look at what's going on in Aurora, if that is indeed true, and it's going to be up to us to stand up and say, we're not doing this. Now, the other thing I think what we're going to start seeing perhaps are businesses and what I call disaster capital. That's not a new term. And one of the things I could see out of this is retired military or retired police officers. You'll hire them for your communities to protect you, right? It's like the Secret Service didn't really protect Trump. Well, we're going to have things like this where we're going to pay. We may live in a community where we pay for the security, if the police officers so that we don't have invasions. Will rather than a civil war, we'll do something more like this, where we'll start to become communities of like-minded people, and we'll say, okay, part of the security is we go find 1,000 soldiers or police officers we really want to hire, and they'll protect our community, and that's part of the fee you pay to live here. That may be one of the things that happen. I don't know if they let that happen. It just depends on what the scramble game is, right? This is all chess. All the pieces are moving. So it just depends on how they want the game to play. So I have no idea on any of this. But my head's always going, well, what about this? Well, what about that? Well, that happened. I don't know.
I tend to look at human nature when the shit hits the fan, and what people would do. So some people are like deer in the headlights.
Yeah.
Some people get angry, and then you got the good people that stand up and go, okay, let's organise this situation.
Right.
Let's get together. And that's where we want to go. We want to come together, and that's why not letting the fear and that get in your head and all that, and listening to the right things is important. So when it does happen, you can look and go, okay, you're not looking at your fellow brother or sister with fear because it's already in you. Do you know what I mean? And you can calm it down and go, okay, we need to work together here. Because the only way we're going to get through this is for all of us, nobodies, because we're, is to get together and stand together like a strong net.
Yeah, I totally agree. I mean, my faith in any kind of news outlet is gone. My days, apart from work and what I usually do, dedicating time to going through the information that I come across from people that I know that, oh, I heard this talking with Mary. Well, I heard this from Brenda. So I don't know Brenda and I don't know Mary all that well. So I'm whatever sources they have, I go to and I come to my conclusion. It's terrible that in busy times like today that there is no true unbiased news network.
Right. Well, I think that's all part of their
not in large media news.
Right.
None whatsoever.
Yeah.
It's all a bunch of dirty laundry.
But see, and that brings up a good topic, because a big part of the reason why we're going through what we're going through today is a result of the past 4 years of administration, where there's been a lockdown on independent news producers and the free press, the ability to go out there in the general public and film and document public events happening. Now we've seen things happen in Arizona where stuff is going on. I'll just put it that way. Stuff is going on where the Americans are being treated like we are not allowed to film our police. And that just can't be stood for. That cannot keep going, because just this common sense logic, every single one of those police officers have a body cam. They are filming everything. Why can't I, to protect myself? It's like, okay, double negatives here. This is when the government starts to crumble. This is when the people lose the faith in the government protecting them, because it becomes clear and obvious that they're not doing it. So one of the solutions, number one, is to bring back the ability, and I don't think we've ever fully had it. We've had glimpses of being able to have a free press, but really, truly, fully have it. We haven't had it yet. And then women need to be more in stations of medicine. If women were running medicine and food again, things would be very, very different. We have examples of that, after war, when there's a lack of men. We see women go into the nursing. We see women start to go into the different manufacturing environments. And what happens? Stuff gets organized. Number one, stuff gets organized. And women have a tendency of getting rid of women that are useless. That's just the way we are. You get a bunch of smart women around, we're going to be like, okay, that one, we don't need that one. And they're out there. We have one as a VP right now. That's a very useless, not really a woman kind of woman. I'm not saying she's trans or anything. I don't know. But
it's the oldest tactic in the book, divide and conquer.
Yeah.
And that whole propaganda fest is dividing people more than it's bringing people together, which is such irony that they want to bring people together with their campaign slogan. They want to unite.
But it's a lie. It's like they're saying we're losing democracy. We're not losing democracy. You're taking democracy away from us. This isn't democracy what they're doing. Cancel culture is not a democracy. Taking free press away is not a democracy.
Neither
We're
is
not.
censorship, which it is a real thing. I have been censored. I've had videos taken down just for
Yeah.
certain words in a phrase. Gone. Bye bye.
Yeah. Yeah, we are. You're exactly right, Luna. We are grown. We are grown people, and we do have the right over our own bodies and our own choices and our own decisions. But at the same time, there must be a righteous force that deals with narcissistic people who just want to destroy everything. People
Yeah.
that are out there to destroy, there does need to be a place and something done
We
with them.
need
And
different
public
laws.
execution is a good way.
Yeah, we need different
That
laws.
was sarcasm, guys.
No, that's funny you said that because I used to make a joke. Because the people that know me, I can see what's coming, right? I can't do nothing about it, so there's not many use in telling people, right? But I see what's coming. And years ago, I used to walk around and go, and I'm an executioner. And you know how I know a lot of university people and that, and they go, "What's your profession?" And I used to say, joking around, "I'm an executioner," right? And the looks on it, they'd actually step back and wouldn't want to know me. And I'm like, well, that's an interesting reaction. But the reason I was saying that is because I knew this day was coming, and people will want blood, right? We're all different, and there are people out there that want retribution. They'll go, these people have done the wrong things so bad, we want blood, like in World War II, right? They're going to want retribution. So someone's going to have to be the executioner. Now, as a spiritual person, who would you rather have as an executioner? Someone that could take you to the gate of the light, or someone that would be so low and negative that you probably, well, they call it hell, but it's just a low frequency, right? I would rather, if I was a bad person, I would rather somebody who was more of a higher frequency in that realm and loving and understanding to at least give me a chance on my moment of death for my spirit to learn from what I've done and perhaps grow. And that's why I used to say my job's the executioner. That's my weird thinking anyway. But you get what I'm saying? These things are happening. These things are going to come.
I think you have to have a little bit of everything. I think we're going to be pushed to a place we've never expected to be pushed. I'll speak for me, being older. I never thought we'd get here, okay? And this is just the beginning of here, and we're going to be pushed more. And I think that we're going to have to fine tune, like you said, the executioner part, the loving part, the smart part, the part that understands that they have to make some of their own decisions, not based on everybody else. We all came with special soft gifts, and those special soft gifts may be something that we're going to be requested to help. Like whatever your special sauce is, you're going to be expected to bring that to the party and part of it. And I think that this whole spiritual growth thing is all a part of everything we're doing. And I have to say, I maybe I'm wrong about what I'm seeing. Is somebody called us sheeple last week, some people that I listened to, and they're a financial group that is helping people leave the country and take their money and leave. Okay, so they're all talking about leaving, and they said the American people are sheeple. And I thought, that's not true. What's true is we're confused. We're not quite sure what to do right now. We didn't think we'd be here. Maybe I'm speaking for myself. I'm learning, I'm paying attention, and I'm going to learn new skills out of this. Mm-hmm. And maybe one of the skills I learned is I am going to go be a part of a community. And, my secret sauce is project management. Maybe I'll help people organize. Maybe that's something I can bring. I'm teaching myself to can. And So people are doing preps and sewing, and that's another thing. Being part of that store is I'm seeing people come in. One lady came in, she goes, "I'm sewing, I'm canning, I'm da 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 da." She sounded like she was, it's like she's bringing back all this stuff her grandmother taught her, or that, right, our grandmothers. So we're bringing in again all of this stuff. But what I feel like we're seeing here is that we're not reacting and acting out, which is what they expect us to do. We're going slow. We're looking at it. We're listening. We know that they want to manipulate us. We know that they don't have our best interest. We know that we want to protect our families and kids. So we're going slow. And I do think this, my spiritual piece is this, that the higher self, creator, whatever you want to call it, is with us. It is with us. I'm not saying it's not with them, but it's with us. And it's helping us open doors and windows and walk that I would never have dreamed of. Right. And I'm listening. And I think I know all of you are listening as well. And I think that's going to be our biggest learning curve, is trusting creator, trusting the fact, even though it doesn't look like it, because I personally think that when it comes to kicking someone's karmic butt, God is amazing. God thinks of crap that I never would have thought of and just executes it perfect. So I try to stay out of God's way when it comes to people getting the karmic kit. You know what I mean? So it's not like you're wishing it on them, but if it happened to happen, like, I don't know what you heard, but our good friend Dr. Fauci was in the hospital with some kind of, virus for 8 days. The creator has a sense of humor.
Yes.
So that's all I'm saying. That's kind of what I feel like I've been seeing. And we are not sheeple, we're learning.
I would agree with that in the sense that I feel, I can't speak for everybody, but for me, the past few months, watching everything kind of unfold the way it is, I am seeing the importance of America being founded as a republic with the Bible. Understanding what's going on, getting the deeper message, and the pull towards a spirituality. I've come across more people lately who are. I have a certain coworker of mine. I won't mention his name, but we always work the 1 day a week where it's the two of us, and it's like, I'd like to have this day off too, so I could go to church. I want to learn. I want to see what's out there, and we have these talks and these chats, and there are people who are learning. And one thing that I'm just seeing as I watch the events unfold, the importance of our Constitution and the importance of having that religion and how they go hand in hand.
I've looked at that too, Jules. That's why I say whatever your religion is, because in this world they like to pit us against each other. So we can get to that. Oh yeah, we all believe in Creator, but we're all different religions. There'll be a point where they'll pit that against each other. It has to be free. How can I put it? Some beliefs are really bad, don't get me wrong, and most of us think, oh no, that's the wrong thing to do. Well, when most of you think that it's the wrong thing to do, no matter what religion you are, obviously it's the right thing, okay? But we've got to have some blurry lines somewhere, because often, for me personally, not all Christians, but a lot of Christians, because I have some really good close Christian friends that I love, and we have all amazing talks about Creator, and there's no animosity there. We both understand each other's way and we respect it, right? That's how it should be. But I've met others and they will see something about me or something I'm doing or something that they think is against their religion, and think I'm evil or something, and it's not that way at all. So it has to be softened somehow, but we still got to keep the boundary lines of what is actually proper and what is wrong. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've got things going off in the background. It's a tricky line. We've all got a lot to learn, but I have faith that we as a whole people in the world can sort these things out if we come from the proper place in ourselves and we have the understanding, forgiveness and all that. I truly believe that whatever's going to happen soon, out of all that shaking and chaos, the good people, the ordinary good people that know how to conduct these things will just come and people will listen to them and we'll figure it out. They're pushing in Australia really hard for that, for us to govern ourselves. And figure out our own ways of council, our own ways of running society, in a better manner, because the power, the government in that here is very, very corrupt. Everybody knows that, and I've got no problem saying it. And they're milking us dry right now. Everyone's finding it really tough. I don't know about how many. Well, there was talk of more people coming to Australia. And when I heard that, honestly, this country is an entity of its own, and I've watched it. If it doesn't like you, it'll kick you out or kill you. Now, I've seen it happen over and over again with people coming to Australia with all their ideas, and if they haven't come from the right heart space, things either go terrible and they have to leave or they get sick and die, and it's true. And people that have heard me talk about the cultural aspect of this country know these things are real. And I'm telling people, if you don't come here in the right heart, you'll either get kicked out or you'll get sick and die. I've even heard of people going to America, special places in America with the wrong place, and the same things happened. So I know this can be. And we've always been the backward, forgotten people, but right now we're on the map because of what's happening. And we're not as advanced as the rest of the world, I'll admit that, in our ways. We're sort of stuck in the old. But in saying that, at the end of the day, the spirit, because it's spiritual before physical, and I feel that the land is kicking back that way, the energy. Anyway, I'm going to go on a rant, so I'm just going to shut up and let someone else talk.
No, please do. I invited you because I want to learn. I want to grow. And what you're saying, it's impactful.
And
we're like hairs of the mother, each person is like a hair of the Mother Earth. And we feel, especially the women, we feel what she's feeling and vice versa. She's heard all us women cry, bring peace to this world, sort this out. Because women are the nurturers. We're the nurturers, the healers, and the creators, the givers. We're the blossomers. Everything's created and made beautiful. We're not destroyers. Women aren't destroyers. We can get very angry, but we're not destroyers. It's very windy. I don't know if you can do it.
That's our first thought or first action, right? Is to have compassion and to think about it from that perspective. I mean, I have a bad temper too. But I love what you said about your country, that you have to come with the right heart. And because I feel like how much I love Australia. I mean, that could be a second home. If there was ever a second home on this planet, and I've traveled quite a bit, it would definitely be Australia. I love your country. It's just amazing. And the people there are amazing as well. And but I think also, the culture in America has always been roll up your sleeves. And, we have opportunities here, but it used to be, before all this crap, we didn't hand it to you, right? You came for the opportunities, right? And it was good to see those kinds of people come here, and start businesses or be able to do things or even speak freely or live a free life.
And what they're banking on is when all of those handouts run out. I mean, you're starting to see the small ripple effects of the Americans that were here. Look at Chicago and how crime is and how their citizens are being treated. They're starting to notice that, hey, look at our town, our city, our suburb over here. We used to have this. It's going over there now, and they're starting to stand up. And when those funds are cut off statewide, there's going to be an uprising. People are they're going to stand up and fight. And I think those powers that shouldn't be know it, and they're just.
Well, you bring up a good point, Jules, because you know everybody. I can't say everybody, but a major portion of people, when they saw, what happened in Butler, Pennsylvania, with Trump, went, "Oh, wow." Because usually we get the kind of impression when something like that is happening, it means that the other party is cheating and they're about to lose. And that's why they would take that kind of a step. I think we all kind of inherently know that when it comes to this kind of a battle going on, the timing, et cetera, et cetera.
Oh, it was definitely meant to trigger something. I mean,
trigger something, and
that was that happened to be the first rally that was actually broadcast on TV. Major networks picked it up. What a coincidence!
Yeah. Well, and there was a lot of controversy about whether or not they even would before it happened, and what the other party was going to do to kind of try and steal the attention before the rally happened, right?
I mean, except now we've got, it didn't happen. It's not real. It was a stage.
It's not real. It's imaginary.
Yeah, I mean, it's not what it is. That photo, it's photoshopped. It's not real. There wasn't enough blood. Nothing. It was all staged.
No, it wasn't. First off, it was real, and we can at least have that to hold on to, because this whole idea of taking live action, something happening, and then as we get longer, the media is telling us it didn't happen, and we're just supposed to Mandela effect ourselves now and take that memory out and make a belief that something didn't happen. This is a narcissistic relationship. This is gaslighting, at its finest.
I personally think gaslighting, and not to cut you off, Maliah, gaslighting at its finest happened after the debate, when the day before, he's on top on his game, and then the following day the media just lied about it, like, we're not with you, that didn't happen. I mean,
actually,
I'm sorry, Luna, you were going to say something?
Yeah, before Maliah said it's narcissistic, I was thinking that we should look at them that are in power, that shouldn't be, as we're governed by a narcissist. So everything that they tell us and we see and all that in the world, that's what the narcissist is telling us. It's all bullshit, right? I suggest people go and learn about narcissists and all their tactics and the way they do it and all that. We need to educate ourselves on it, because we're never taught at school, and there's a reason for that, because they knew that this has been a well-placed plan for even before we were born, right? Before we were born, Sharon, this plan was in action. It's just that now we're born, and the more that people are born, the more awake and enlightened we get. We know what's going on. And look at it, everything you see in that, remember the narcissist in the back of your mind. Oh, this is a narcissist telling you this, right? When you look at the TV and you listen to the news and you listen to the world events and what they're telling you happen, just keep that in the back of your mind so you know what's real. Okay.
Oh yeah, no, this has been going on. I mean, and they try to, that's why I get very annoyed when they call people sheeple, because they've been programming us for a very long time, way before I came here. Yeah. And I personally believe, and if I see not just my generation, but all the generations after me, we've all were sent here for this thing, that's whatever you want to call this. I personally think every generation has come, and we have work to do. We have work to do as a single person. We have work to do as a generation. And one of the people I saw get interviewed by Robert Phoenix this week was a 16-year-old kid, amazing. And he is generation, what was it, Alpha or something? It's Generation Alpha. Mm-hmm. And Robert said to him, and the guy, you thought he was talking to somebody 28 years old. I mean, the kid knew all the history. That we're talking about politics and just all kinds of stuff, but he knew, he was just up on all of it. There's nothing Robert said that, and Robert treated him like an adult, like like with lots of respect. But he said to him, I feel like your generation, Gen Alpha, is coming out of the box ready to go. And if you look at some of these babies, right? I mean, they're moving, they're sitting up, they're ready to go, they're ready to rock and roll. These guys were handed phones and iPads and you know, I talked to my grandson who's going to be 9 this month, and you talk to everybody who's got little grandkids. These guys are way beyond what we could even imagine being at that age. They got it. You know, he and I had this conversation about God. And it was like, he goes, look, I believe in God. I mean, the way he put his hands up like that, I believe in God. All right. You know, 8. And anyway, so like I said, the other piece of hope I have is these generations that are coming, right? And like you said, they're ready to go right out of the box. It's like, all right, let's go. You know,
I've seen that too, Sharon. But also too, it's a lot like there's a lot more of the awakened coming, and I have hope for the future when I've met these young people. And don't forget, there are the others too. Like there people, normal people that don't even know what's going on. There still are them people, but yeah, I've met a few young ones, and I've said to my friends, oh, there's hope for the future. Looking at these young people, and I just hope. And this is our job too, as the elder generation, is that we have to leave energy for them to protect them from all the things we've encountered in our lives, right? All the things we've talked about tonight about we got to look at that younger generation. And even if we can't, they're not in your life and you just see them around, send them that beautiful energy. Think of them in your prayers or whatever, because they need that. We had a hard time. You can imagine what kind of time they're going to have, because things are all ramped up now, and they've got added things we never had. So,
So how do we stop the public school system from ruining Generation Alpha?
There's lots of ways you do it. One, pull your kids out. In Australia, it's a phenomenal amount of kids being pulled out of school. We're onto it. And some of the things I've heard of what going on in the schools, and I'm so glad. I keep saying to my husband, I'm so glad all our children have grown up now, because I could see all those bad things happening in school when I was at the end of the last children, and I knew it then, but now I'm really lucky. And then I look upon my younger friends who have young children. Some of them homeschool, some of them have found schools that have more morals, let's say, the good schools. They're there, so a lot of them have pulled them out and done homeschooling. And I know in America, homeschooling is a bit more of a thing in Australia. In Australia, it's so hard to get homeschooling. It's not the thing, but it's becoming the thing. And even good parents, I'll just tell you a little story. When I was bringing up my kids, I had 6. They went to public school, and my brothers and sisters all sent their kids to private paid school. And I remember one of my siblings ringing me up once and go, hey sister, how come your kids are so smart and they go to public school? And I said to him, well, I don't rely on the school to teach my children. They go to school to practice reading and writing, but when they come home throughout the day, me and their father teaches them all manners of things from maths to art to logic to religion. Like we discuss these things at home. We made a point of teaching our children ourselves, even though they go to school. And that's the attitude I think a good parent should have. That's what a parent is, teach a kid about everything, isn't it? You know? And sometimes they'd ask me a question, I don't know, let's go and find out together.
Yeah.
So we find out together. And luckily for the second half of my children, we had computers. The first half of my children, we didn't have computers or phones or nothing. Second half we did. So as a parent, I had to adjust to technology in that way for their sake. And the beauty about it was, if we didn't know something, let's look it up. Even for scientific stuff, we looked at scientific stuff, like a science class, and we'd look up things through magnifying glasses, look up effects of different ingredients in things that we use today and stuff like that. And educated them, and to the point where I've got it, they even said, I've got it, Mum, I understand now. And they know how to search for themselves if they've got a question. And that's what we should be doing for our children, is educating. So try and make an alternative way of education for your kids because schools are coming down, I think. In Australia, there's a political party. They're new and they're doing really well. And their idea was to change the schools change society. So remember the days where one parent, one income was enough for a family. Go back to that, but also have it so the parent actually goes to school with the child, their own children, and they teach their children at school with the assistance of the teacher, and change the dynamics of education altogether, which would be awesome.
Yeah.
I agree with you on that sense, and that's where I can't speak. I don't have children. I mean, my cats are my children, but I'm in favor of Trump's policy of doing away with the education system. Not the way it's in entirety, the way that it's structured now, because I was in school and I see how things that I learned aren't the same as what's being taught now. And it's the new math. It's like we for how many years and centuries did we do that math that we know, and then all of a sudden there's common core math that most people our age can't do now because it's designed different. I mean, there was why break it if it's not why fix it if it's not broke? So when I actually see just casual observation over the years how our education system has dumbed down some Americans, I'm in favor of a rehaul with that. And if the states decide to do it, that's where fundamentally that change is going to occur within the education system. The government level, nothing's going to happen. When you give it back to the states, that's where the states can do their own legislation. They can do this to make it mandatory across the state. That's where the most change and impact is going to happen. Just thinking, and I don't have children, so maybe I'm wrong, but that's my thoughts on education.
And you know, if we looked after our
No, I
elderly
think
better,
it ought to be out.
go Marie.
Go ahead, Luna. You're fine.
I was just going to say we look after
I'm
our
just going to
elderly.
say, for here, who did it? I love it when that
We can learn off
You
our elders.
first.
Yeah, I was just going to say there's a lot of retired teachers, mechanics and all that. They'd love to pass on their knowledge to younger generations without all that bullshit in the way. They just want to teach, pass on their knowledge. Like the old ways, you didn't need someone
Yeah.
there to say it's okay. You just passed your knowledge on. We need to go back to that a bit. So
Yeah.
sorry, Maliah, you go now.
We have that here. I mean, there's still a lot of Native Americans that would just, the Native American, that's the first thing that comes into my mind. Those elders would be ecstatic if they were allowed to go teach in the schools. But I think a lot of where the corruption lies that Trump is referring to is in the federal schools, the part of this, basically the DOJ being in charge of the schools. Like, why? Why is
The
that going
DOJ.
on? And it, a lot of people could say that because of that, criminals that do really horrible things to children, continue on without prosecution because of certain protections and loopholes of it being a federalized thing instead of, the states being able to deal with what's going on in the school systems. And have their own rules and laws according to things. It's interesting. It happens the same as in the Catholic Church, where a priest that gets caught, doing these kind of horrible things to children, and they're just shipped to a different, place. There's no prosecution that happens. There's no, paying for what you've done. You just get to keep on go do it just somewhere else because now you're found out. Well, the same thing is happening in the school systems. The teachers get caught. They're grooming the kids. They have all this evidence, et cetera, et cetera. They send them to a different school system, a different state. And that has to stop. And that's the biggest loophole that federal government being in charge of schools is that's where that's coming in, I see. But yeah, schools is a big problem too. That's what I mean. We're in the death throes.
The whole system needs an overhaul. The law
I
needs an
agree.
overhaul. Education needs an overhaul. Medical needs an overhaul. Just common care of our own community all needs an overhaul. I've always said we need to go back a bit so we can go forward. And when I mean that, go back and get some of the things we used to have. I remember my mum telling me when she was a kid, bless her soul, after dinner, she said everyone would go outside, the children would all play, and the adults would all talk about the states of affairs.
Yeah.
So everyone knew what was going on. And I thought, no one does that now. We do it like in gossip. Oh, did you see the news? Did you see that? But you don't actually face-to-face all meet together like a little small community and go, okay, did you hear about this problem over here? Is it being fixed? What can we do about it? And take care of it on a smaller level rather than sitting at home going, oh, someone from the government or the state will fix that. Yeah, they'll fix it, but who knows how? You can't entrust, and we've got to entrust ourselves again and be responsible for ourselves in those manners. But everything needs rehauling. Some of the old ways were good. There's a book called The Ori Linda, and it was about the world before we had land incursions like earthquakes, before the changes, and before war. Before war ever came, can you imagine a place like that where there was no war? And if you can ever get a chance to read that book, have a read, because it tells you what happened and how the change happened and how war come about and the adjustments they had to make. And if we can go back a bit to before war and take some of them laws, they had really good, strict, strong laws, but everyone was in harmony. And it made it so the wrong people didn't get punished. It was the right people that got punished. We need to go back to that.
Yeah.
I agree. I mean, there needs to be a standard for law and not unfair, unbiased to benefit one over the other. Justice is justice. We were speaking about different hats. I mean, it's most people walking around today are being the judge, jury, and the executioner. They're constantly just drifting between roles that they're playing, trying to go along to get along.
Yeah, I kind of wonder too, since they're breaking, the game players are breaking everything down. They're breaking down food, they're breaking down the medical industry, so everything's kind of breaking down, which probably will trickle down to the schools eventually. And if what I think is going to happen, if we end up creating different kinds of communities and starting over, like how we grow food and how we teach our kids and how we live, right? Because it's the weird thing about life, right, is that you can throw in a 50,000 gabillion monkey wrenches, but it isn't always going to look the way you think it's going to look. Whether we threw in the monkey wrenches or the buttheads threw in the monkey wrenches, because there's always going to be those elements of surprise that you did not see coming and that we can't see coming. So there's probably ample opportunity that hopefully we're going to be seeing some changes as well. There's going to be probably climate changes, there's going to be space changes, there's going to be all kinds of invention changes. It's inevitable, and these things are going to happen. And I think they're so used to, like I said, they're so used to controlling every single thing and everything just falls into place for them. I don't think it's that time. It's not even falling into place for us. We don't know what we're doing. We're not listening to them. We're already looking at them and going, I'm already blowing you off. It's kind of like 10 kids in a family and you've lost trust in the parents. There's chaos, right? And parents, in this case, the parents don't care whether they get trust back with you. They've already blown you off. Well, how many of those kids would leave, right? If you have 10 kids in the family and they lost all trust in the parents, probably a portion of them. Some will stay because they can't figure out how to leave, or they're too scared to go on it. But a portion of those kids would leave and go start something completely different and go find like-minded people. And I think, those are kinds of things. And I like I said, something Catherine Austin Fitz once said. She said, if you're the leech, if you're the, what do they call that? Like when you are part of eating a bug, or you're part of the parasite. If you're the parasite, never make fun of the thing that you're feeding off of,
Yeah.
host. And they've gone way beyond that. And I'm thinking, I don't choose to be your parasite anymore. You've already stolen Besides, the goal is I have nothing and I'm happy. Well, if that includes,
Yeah, right.
maybe I could be happy. If we never had to hear from them again and never have anything to do with them, okay, I'll go to zero. Fine. I'm just so sick of them.
Yep.
Right. Yeah.
But looking out, projecting into the future, it just occurred to me sitting here that whatever is going on right now, I'd like to somehow the good that's coming. That's what I'm striving for. That's what, in small ways, it's what keeps me going. And knowing that, okay, I want to do good now, because as much as I don't want to come back to this reincarnation, to this phase, what if I do come back? I would like to come back to a world that's better in the future than it is now. And that's why I just felt compelled to talk with you guys. It's like as much bad that's going out there, there is good out there too. It's unfortunate that the darkness always overshadows the light, but in the end, we all know light wins.
Actually, I got a message on that, the exact same thing the other day. It went, the storm of change can be frightening, but after the dust settles, it's a beautiful day.
That's awesome.
That's great. That's perfect. That's perfect.
And it's true. Change is uncomfortable, and no matter which way things are going to happen, which I think they're going to be better than we thought they would, because you always think the worst, right? It's still going to be uncomfortable. Don't think that, it's going to, the positive things are all coming now, I can just relax. It's going to be uncomfortable still, That change period will be uncomfortable. That's where the strength has to come in. That's where we have to be strong and take account of ourselves, and if you're strong enough, help others around you, because they're your neighbours. When things happen, it's going to be your neighbours and that live around you. They're the ones that you're going to have to comfort. Yeah, they're the ones that are going to affect your world. So
I mean, when the power grid goes out, power gets snipped. If you don't know your neighbors, you'll get to know your neighbors really fast.
Yeah, get to know now and figure out whether you put a gate in the fence between you or you put barbed wire up.
Right.
But I think, like I said before, we're grown as a people now. As a world, we're come to the adult point. No one wants war. No one wants conflict. We just want to live in harmony. Even the dudes with the barbed wire around the fence, they're only doing that.
We all want to do our thing. We acknowledge the people to our left, the people to our right. We want to do our own thing. But when we need to speak, it's nice to have a voice that'll listen to us and give us feedback. I admit that I don't do everything right all the time. And when I need to be corrected, I have people who tell me, you need to stop doing that.
Yeah, we're only human.
Yep.
Most of us.
Well, I mean, coming back to looking at the good things, well, I feel like we've mentioned a couple of them, like we're seeing things in the younger generations that I'll speak for me, that I didn't see in my generation. Our generation came here to stop the war. That was what we were supposed to be doing. We kind of got sabotaged. Our parents didn't show up to help us. They were mad at us. At least my parents were, because my dad.
Right. Right.
Exactly. It's like
that describes the generation from the 80s perfectly.
Well,
It's
But
so true.
but we're going to be there for the younger generation. That is the difference.
The difference.
Mhm.
That's the hugest
I'm
difference.
listening to my grandson. I'm not
Yeah.
saying God isn't up there. Well, I'm saying good for you. Awesome.
Right.
That is great.
Yeah.
Awesome, right? And
Yeah.
and looking at the wonderful things that I think he's going to bring as well as his colleagues. And seeing that it's coming, right? I mean, I don't know if my parents would understand this conversation we're having. So that's a huge difference, right? And start to see all of the beauty in all the generations. And it just bugs me when people slam a generation. It's like, don't do that. These
Yeah, now's the time to put differences aside and come together.
absolutely, because every generation has the secret sauce we need, right? They come with
Mhm.
software installed. It's the perfect thing that the planet needs right now to help us move us forward.
Yeah, we just raise Luna and Polly talking about frequencies and vibrations. Come
Yeah,
together, raise that vibration, get on that same frequency, elevate
right.
yourself and those around you.
There's a saying in Native people that the elders come back. That's why you care for the young, because the elders come back as in a young person's body. That'll be you one day. So that's why a lot of elders have come back in young people, but we lost a lot of them, and we're going to lose a lot more. But they're all going to, people are going to come back. We've got a whole heap of people that aren't coming back, and we've got a whole heap of people that are coming back. It's a person, like it's a choice. It's
Yeah.
a choice.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's an individual choice.
But I see that as a positive. I see the destruction of some of this crap as a positive too. I mean, some things are really broken, and I would like, if that's the only way you can change them, like let's just let them go. Like if the school system's a program machine, let's let it go. The medical stuff. How about if we change it to something completely different? I used to work in that industry. I don't think it's a really healing, healthy place for everybody. Let's change
No.
that, So and free energy. We've been talking about that forever. And what about our flying cars? We do have them. We
Yeah,
were going
that's what held back.
to, right? I
Everything
mean,
held back.
so, and I think the fact that if the Tesla guy, Mr. Musketeer, wants to take us to Mars, okay. How do we know there isn't a bunch of people living there already? They've been lying to us forever. Who knows what's there? And I'm like,
Very true. Well, I mean, it just coincidentally, back in the 50s, Warner von Braun wrote his book. The character was named Elon, and he was going to colonize Mars.
there you go. So
And always look into Nikola Tesla,
right.
time travel.
Yeah,
I mean, if our buddy Kev Baker was here today, he'd be kicking our butts. All right, ladies, wrap it up.
And speaking of that, we have been going for nearly an hour and a half. Does anybody have anything else they would want to bring up?
um,
I was just going to talk about warrior queens and, that mentality. I think there's a reason that in archaeology, even, we're finding a lot of evidence of, like, I'm talking Mayan specific, but it's also coming out in Vedic and others, that we had warrior queens in the past, and they are most likely the builders of the serpent pyramids that we see all over Yucatan, Guatemala, etc. So, like the Maya, referring to the Maya queen Kaabel, who most likely reigned also over Koba, Calakmul, the whole region, and we see this also in ancient Greece and other places where there was a warrior woman mentality, and we have these all over in lore and mythology. And I think there's a reason why it sticks around, because there has been a concerted effort to, eliminate women from positions of power or positions of political impact. and this kind of thing. And it is still very much a male dominated place. Now, I'm not talking about like what's happened to different agencies where, in the, we had recently women pretty much infiltrate. They call it the sisterhood. And now those women are slimy. They're horrible people. They don't belong doing. It's how we got a woman in the Secret Service who didn't know how to shoulder her gun. YouTube, I'm so sorry. I used the wrong word. This is the problem. This is like we as a people are not allowed to use our own language out here. On our own channel, it's supposed to be our property, this kind of thing. And it's like, that's a trigger point for me, because in order to describe something in a lacking language to begin with, like English is, you have to be able to use certain words because we don't have other words for them. And one of those things is our weapons. But I really do believe that that women need to become a lot more involved with politics, unfortunately, and it's the good women that need to get involved with this, because what's happening is just completely despicable. It's ruining everything. I can't put it any more of a stronger way to say, this isn't just the throes. This is the last gurgling breaths of this nation, and our forefathers would just be so betrayed right now.
Yes. I mean, and I find myself again fighting for a freedom, just like my great going back 26 times grandfather did. He fought for the freedom for Scotland, and now I'm fighting for the freedom of America.
Yeah.
Going back to the women warrior.
Yeah, bring back those good men that know how to fight.
Robert the Bruce.
But
going back to the women warrior.
We were talking about the predictions from Kim Clement. What's the name?
We haven't even talked about the prophecies of Kim Clement and how everything pertains to today. It's
what's that? Well, just to align with this last couple of comments. What was the name of the woman that he not the name of the how he sees her? She's coming, and she will be one of those strong leaders in America. What did he call not the warrior princess, but what did he call her? Anyway, he's predicting that there is going to be a very strong woman.
Yeah. Yes, it was
house, right?
A couple of days ago, and I'm still actually watching it.
Right.
And I would drop the link, but it'll take me time to distract. But check out House of Destiny. It's run by Dave Petruvia. I can't pronounce it, but she's Kim Clement's daughter. She runs that website. And what they are doing as the election gets closer, they're going over the sermons, which were prophecies that Kim Clement laid out. These prophecies go back as far as 2010, where he's almost to the day predicting what's happening with Trump and his reign. And this weekend, a couple of days ago, House of Destiny, they aired the prophecy of Esther. And coming up with this, that's what they're talking about. There will be a strong female lead coming up in the White House during the second term. And don't know who it will be, but it'll be a strong person like Carrie Lake, Tulsi Gabbard, Sarah Huckabee Sanders. I mean,
well, we're guessing at those three, but based on what you were just saying, this would be a huge shift if we could have and he called her, she has beautiful eyes. Her eyes see beauty. So this would be like a very strong spiritual woman, nothing degrading, right? And so it's amazing you brought that up, because that would be such an inspiration for the rest of us women, right? Mm-hmm. And The problem I have with the person running is that I've never respected people who kind of slept their way to the top. I mean, and I don't think any women do. We appreciate roll up the sleeves, be your strength, have your secret sauce,
Mm-hmm.
and
Mm-hmm.
you bring that to the party.
Yeah.
That is your strength. And I was so
Yeah.
blessed to work in the computer industry, and I worked with so many phenomenally amazing women, not just amazing men, but women. So we know they're there, and we do need a balance. I don't want all women and all
Yeah.
guys. As a project manager,
No.
you want
Mm-hmm.
balance. So we
Hmm.
need to have some beautiful, whatever you want to call them, strong spiritual women.
That's why I love my culture so much, Sharon, because in my culture it's like a dying thing now, but it's men and women's business. It's two together as one, not one
Exactly.
against the
Right.
other, behind, over here. It's we're walking side by side.
Yes.
And we're
Yes.
still matriarchal. So whatever the men decide, the men still do their business. They still
Yes.
run them. But when they do it, they come and talk to us and go, is it good for everybody? Look at it from our lens. So, because we're the nurturers, we're the ones that can see, is it going to benefit everybody? Is it going to
Hmm.
cause discord? Is it going to destroy anything? Or is it going to be creative? And we can discern that and give them the go ahead, or say you need to tweak it up because over here it's going to cause a problem. Let's fix that so it don't cause a problem and make it the proper way. It's not like women, we don't rule the world, but our wisdom and our nurturing from good-hearted women and good spirit.
You can feel the energy it balance when you have a certain amount of each in a room. It doesn't, and even if it's just two, if you have just two, because most of the time where I worked in a male dominated business, right, there was either two or three women. But as long as you had that, even if there were 10 men, it balanced. And you
Balance.
could feel that balance. And that's the
Mm-hmm.
power.
Yeah.
That is the power. And
And
that's
the
what we
balance.
get back to. And I think that's why
Well,
we're playing our games. Go
it's
ahead.
because this world runs on frequencies.
Yeah.
Without balance, things become disharmonized. And what is disharmony? And a disruption in the frequencies. And when we have too much of that masculine energy, which is there's a use for it, there's a purpose to have that masculine energy. But if you have too much of it, then the little guys start to get beat down. Um, and women tend to be part of the little guys. I mean, we are the smaller form. But you know what we lack in that big strong masculine strength we make up for in our intelligence, and that's what I think it's really unfortunate of our culture right now is this belief that I don't want to say women are not intelligent, but that they're lacking in intelligence. That's just plain not true, and it's a cultural damage to years of dogma and religion, coming down to you know make everybody gods and men. I
Right.
know,
No, you bring up some
but
good,
yeah,
brilliant points. Yep, yep, you're absolutely right. And I just wanted to throw that in that if he's right, and he's been what I would say almost 80 or 90%, his predictions have been right on. He even named Trump to be president, and before he even wrote
Well,
down our list.
he saw that there would be two terms.
Yes, yes. And then he predicted that this next term, because of the event that happened and that sort of spiritual experience that we feel like he might have had, and he said he had, that will make a huge difference. So all these, like, it's like you couldn't predict really all this stuff happening as much.
He prophesized a witch in the White House.
Yes, yes.
mm,
And that's who
and
we
that's
wanted.
happened.
That's who we don't want to have. So going back to
Right.
your comments, one of my heartbreaks is has been watching the deterioration of all of the hard work we created. The girls
Yeah,
of
that's
sport.
mine too.
I can't even tell you how heartbreaking that is, because it started with my generation kicking butt. And it's like, oh my God, right? And do we know what a woman is? I guess not. It's that, which is just,
Yeah, she's been demoralized. She's been completely changed into something different. And, a lot of that has to do with media. It has to do with, the music industry and this kind of thing coming in, telling women what they should be like, what they should expect in a relationship. I mean, in a general consensus, most women, not all of them, and I hate doing this generalizing, but they're of this mindset that men are supposed to pay for everything in the relationship. If they want their nails done, the man's supposed to pay for that and this and that. And it's like, what happened to self-sufficiency? What happened to standing on your own 2 feet and having that skill?
yeah.
I know. And the skill is where it's at mentally. Like for women, when you really apply and because I'm a firm believer that in the blood, in your DNA, is your past lives. And that skill which you put into your blood in the past life will come out if you go looking for it.
It does. So true. So true.
And
And
it
I
does
agree
come
with
out.
you.
And so
That's
when you
what
apply it,
or I was going to say, I agree with you. That's what women and girls are taught. But what they should teach us from the early age is our importance in society. It's we contributed to the wealth of this country in so many ways.
Yeah.
We were given the right to vote only because we could be taxed to make more revenue for a certain elite bloodline family.
Yeah.
well, that's why I was saying after the war, women became the backbone. We became the skeleton of the country. We kept it going. We went into
Rosie the Riveter, we
manufacturing
did
and
so much
factories.
for the war.
Yeah,
I mean, we did
exactly.
that. I mean, and the
Exactly.
little
We
thing of
built the
the
medical.
women's baseball, we kept that afloat during the war going on. I
Mhm.
mean,
Yeah. Yeah, and there's a reason why, history repeats itself every 50 years. And every 150 years a country reaches its demise. And we're there. We're there completely. And there's either a rewrite of what's happening in a complete reconstruction, or we'll be blown into oblivion. It's at that point.
it's like they're already rewriting history
Opinion.
now. I mean, your opinion is not far off from mine. We're already rewriting history. There are certain phrases that you can't Google on the internet. They have been scrubbed. It's not even been 2 months, and you can't find any information on a certain event that happened in mid-July. That iconic image is gone.
This is why I encourage people to do what they did in the
And
old
this is
days.
really scary.
Put pen to paper, start writing this down, put that book in a little metal box and bury it, so in the future someone will find it and go, I found this amazing book and it tells the truth. That's what we're looking at there. It's up to us to make sure the truth survives for the future generations. We need to do that. It can't be on computer stuff, because one day it's going to be gone. And I believe history repeats itself, yes, Maliah, to the point where we've had all this stuff before and then we lost it. That's why people couldn't read and write anymore, because they forgot, because they were all doing it on computer and stuff, and all that disappeared and they had nothing left. They had no books or anything left. So you start writing books, people, and put them in a box for prosperity in the future, and make sure the truth's in there. That way, one way we can buy
And buy more books.
and buy more books. Put them in a case
Get
for the
more
future.
books.
Especially
Yes. Yeah. Well, the self-publishers, one up for them, because now we finally can say that self-publishers are making and have created a very competitive market for the big house publishers. Yeah, they don't like it, but they're having to learn how to deal with that. And that's an advance, because self-publishers were becoming really beaten down by those big house publishers. If they decided you didn't fit the narrative, again, the free press thing, you didn't get published. You didn't get the chance to get your work out there, and
Yeah, I have friends that are, well, a friend right now who's being published, and it's every time seems like we catch up, I have to do a rewrite. They don't like this, need a rewrite. And that's the importance of free press,
it's so
independent
hard.
printers. It's, this is my story, this is my
Yeah.
vision. If I change it, then it's your vision, it's your story. It's not how things were.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we're human, guys. Like, we are not computers. And it will come, I don't think it's going to take very long where people prefer, mistake ridden human content to AI content.
Yeah.
It's real. You
Human
can't
made
be
women.
real. Yeah.
Full again, important again. Someone made that. That's so special because everything's made by AI. Yeah, I can see that coming.
Yeah.
Someone drew that picture,
AI and 3D
imagination,
printers.
Yeah, I can see that
Mhm.
coming. I can see that coming. So hold on to all your creativity, all your gifts, everything, whatever you do it well and hang on to it and teach others if you can, because we're in for a ride.
Aw.
We're in
We're
for a
so
ride.
grateful for you, Bumbleberry. Thank you. That was cute. And Griffin Eagle, everybody. Our audience is just so sweet.
Yeah,
We
thank you,
love
everyone.
them.
Yes, thank you everybody for showing up. I apologize, I haven't been in chat as much tonight.
You're running the show. It's fine.
I'm not running nothing. I'm just being myself and having a yarn with some friends. But I am grateful
Cheers
for
to
each
that.
and every one of you guys here with me tonight. 'Cause,
You know,
I don't know how things start, how they spread, but if anything comes of this meeting, I'm grateful for the companionship. And if nothing comes from this, I'm still grateful for the companionship.
No, it was really nice to be invited and to share with you all again. It's been a while. It's almost
It has, and I mean, it's like
great.
there were so many things that were going on, and it's like I don't have anything to say. I don't have anything to say, and then I just kept, and it's like, wait a minute, I need to say something because this is I'm not for either side. I am for the future. I want a good future for a better place for future generations. Should I have to come back, I want to know that I did my best trying to fight for this country.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, I love my country. I just want to say for the women out there, what I noticed in our community, when the women get up and start doing something, no matter what it is, the men look over and go, oh, look what they're doing. And then they actually get
You
motivated. Right? So
Yeah.
what I'm saying is I'm calling all the women out there, young, old, in between, get up and just do it. Just do what's right. And for your community, your family, and your country, just do what's right and from your good heart. And the men will see you doing it, and then the men will get together and do it. And then we're on our way, people. We're on our way.
Yeah, isn't that kind of like the Lasso who said the journey of 1,000 miles starts with a single footstep?
Yeah. So we can do it. Now's the time.
Yeah.
Now's the time for all those things. You're sitting there wondering what to do. Be you. Be the best person Creator made you to be. And Creator gave women something extra because we are kind of in charge of certain things, the nurturing and all that. We've got this extra energy. It's time to use it, ladies. Come on. Let's get up and show and start to shine and be strong. Show you how strong we can be. And the other thing I wanted to say is women are known for our gentleness and our beauty and our calmness and all that. I've got to tell you, ladies, there is so much power in that, more power than in rage. And you need to tap into your beauty and all that beautiful stuff because it is so powerful you have no idea. It's stronger than 10 men. And seriously, you've got to go inside and find out. Go get together with your girls and your girlfriends and your friends and talk about it. And what are our strengths? What strengths do women have? What can we do for our people, for our country?
Yeah.
I'll leave it on that.
I agree
Yes,
with
carry grace, respect, regard for every person, no matter their status, no matter their level. That is like number one paramount. Human interaction with another human. That's the bottom line. They should be given respect and regard
And
to
people
start off
actually
with.
do crave that interaction with another human because I don't know in all the other states, but the vast majority of stores now are going to self checkouts, and people are not having it. They're leaving their stuff at the counter. They would rather deal with interact with a human than a computer. And it's not that they have to do more work bagging their own stuff, bringing their own stuff out. There are a lot of people who do want to communicate with a human being. There, I work in a sometime part of what I do in my business is I print, but I'll run copies. I will see the same people 2 or 3 times a day just for a single copy because that human interaction is what compels them to keep going forward. Hard circumstances where they've lost their spouse, their companion, there are people who just want to generally just be people and get to know people.
Yeah. Yeah, you never know where somebody's at when you cross paths. And I love the um, Asian, I'm going to call it Asian because it does compass more than just China. But they're in their culture, they have a really special thing that says, universe designed you crossing my path today. And recognizing that something so simple that we just like, oh, I was walking down the sidewalk and this person walked down and crossed my path. Take that moment to go, you were meant to be there. I need to recognize you. And even if you don't say anything, but you send out that energy of respect and regard for that person, you've got no idea what they are going through right now in their life. And it could be something as simple as the universe says, you need to send some healing energy to this person, or not. And then I want to put that in with the qualification too, because once somebody has earned themselves a position that says, no, you no longer deserve the regard and the respect, we do reserve the right to take that away and bring that back to us. Because if somebody proves themselves to be not worthy of it, we need to, as women, make sure and set our boundaries really strong, really clear, and not give it to the abuser, because that's our downfall. Women do fall really hard about doing that.
It's only because of the journey we've had, and so much has been taken from us, and we've had to climb back up again from our original position, and we're going back to our original position. Because women, I'll tell you what I've always said. There's a reason women don't go to war, and that reason is we will annihilate everything that we perceive as destructive or a threat to the goodness.
Yeah.
And that's why we don't do it. It's a formidable force, and we don't really. It's been here before, and we don't really want to go that far. But and I don't think we have to this time. I think Creator's got our back, and our grace will be saved. So, but just keep that in mind, people out there. Women are a formidable force, and we need to stand up and do the right thing. Say it in your own community. If you see something that, speak it out. Stand up for your rights. Stand up for, do it in a good manner though. Don't, remember we're supposed to be beautiful. But thanks, Jules. It's been liberating. Actually, I think we could do a part 2.
Yeah, we could.
We could totally.
Yeah, when things change, and
so we're going into fall here. So we'll see how things go as it gets closer towards the end of the year. We'll know, and there will be lots of stuff to talk about because I feel like everything that's going on, it's just starting.
Oh yeah, they're just cranking up the heat.
I mean, we've been enjoying the bread and circus for so long. Now they're gonna have to change up the menu, so we'll be, yeah. So, yeah, I will totally. I look forward to catching up with you ladies again.
That would be awesome.
Yeah.
I just want to thank everyone who showed up to listen to us tonight. Thank you so much.
Yes, thank you everybody for showing up. And Maliah, thank you for like sharing a stream with me.
Loved it.
We didn't.
We
cross
talked
the
about
stream,
it.
but
I freaking love that coffee cup. Oh my gosh. That was great. Yes, Kelly. Who you
Yeah,
gonna
thank you,
go?
Kelly, for that. I'm glad we helped. I hope we can do it again in the future. And Griffin Eagle is, check us out. I'd love. We need
Aw.
some music and that. Check
yes.
us out.
I mean, before I close off this stream, please visit Maliah over at Walter Bosley's channel. Walter and Maliah are on to great things, and Luna, she's got a channel on YouTube as well.
Yeah. Under Luna, it's called Serious Frequencies. We do it with Polly, and drop over. If you got nothing to do, you can have a listen to us, and we do some good stuff and some educational things, and mostly we laugh. We try anyway.
Laughter is essential. Laughter is important. Laughter raises that vibration, raises that frequency. It's from that comes happiness and joy and love. And with love, we can come together and change the world.
Hey, laugh in the face of your enemy, haha, and love them, and they will not know what to do.
Yes.
So, and with that said, I am going to, with the click of a button, I'm going to end this stream. But I just want to thank everybody for showing up and chat. You guys are amazing. And next time I will spend more time with you. And once again, I want to thank Nano Girl, Maliah, and Luna. Love you, ladies. Until next time.
Thank you.
Hello.
Yellow.
Yaloo.